Hey everyone, it's SaintMarcuz again here. Once again, sorry for the long absence. Had some things I had to take care of in my life, and I'm all better now. I went to Nats this past weekend, and it was my first ever national Yu-Gi-Oh championship. And we played in the main event. We unfortunately lost early on. Um, we'll get into that a little bit. But overall, the trip was fantastic. I had a blast. I got to see friends, YouTubers that I watch constantly, stuff like that. I even hosted a 3v3 on Sunday night. That was crazy. Hoping to host another one this week as well. And yeah, here's my deck profile for it, and I'll talk about Nats at the same time. And missed you guys. So hopefully I'll bring you more deck profiles. Maybe not of Despia coming up. I'm probably going to jump onto the Sprites train in a little bit too. Yeah, I think that deck's actually gonna be pretty crazy. I'll probably play it for a couple events. I probably won't main it as hard as I main Despia. I love this deck. Everything about this deck is super fun. We'll see how Sprites does for me. But I really enjoy fusion decks, and here we go. So for the event, I went in with the mindset of I need to break boards, and if my voice cracks again, I'm gonna cry. So I played 3 Alluver. Card's awesome, like usual. I played 3 Tragedy. I played 1 Ad Libitum Despia, 1 Dramaturge Despia, and I still play the Comedy. And with this 9 name lineup, I was guaranteed to see a name in my hand in my 43 card list. So I was wanting to see a Despia in my hand as long as I had that and some board breakers, I should be able to start. That was my whole theory around making the deck. I was playing the deck primarily going second, so Dramaturge was my main man going into for the OTK. He performed amazingly through testing. He also performed pretty well at the event and side events too. We played in Winamat tournaments, Rivalry of Warlords tournaments, which were really fun. They gave you a deck list to play with. It was super fun experience. I enjoyed all of it. And yeah, I mean, ever since I started going second, I just fell in love with the deck even more because I had gotten very discouraged playing Despia going into this new format post-ban list. I kept going first and just getting blown out or losing the dice roll and not being able to recover from it was really painful, and I was getting really frustrated. I actually took some time away from playing the deck, and I started playing like Weather Painters, Dinos, which I thought I was going to take Dinos to the Nats, and it was just, I don't know. I just couldn't figure out Dino combo quick enough, and so I was like, well, I better start testing Despia. So about a week and a half before Nats, I started playing Despia again, and I said, you know what, these hands are always just 1 card short of being successful, so I decided going second, and I've really enjoyed it going second. I use every single one of these in my going second path. I couldn't imagine not playing a single one of these, especially Comedy, which a lot of people I just don't understand why the card isn't used. It's just so good. Next we played 2 Fallen Albaz, and from here you're gonna see something crazy. One of the reasons why I chose this list was because this list was actually close to the list that I won the regional with, and it just performed so well then. It still performed well now that I felt very confident taking this list in. So you're gonna see that I'm missing a couple of cards that most people are playing now, and for the reason why is those cards were just ultimately bricks. And so we're gonna play 1 Ecclesia with our Fallen Albaz package. This is our light target. I was playing a 42 card list without the Ecclesia, and there were matches or games where I just didn't have a light target, and it made plays really weird. And it's not that I didn't want to play Snow, it's just that I felt like Ecclesia was more useful in the build that I was playing. And that was just one of those things where it just turned out to be a really good card, and I'm really happy. Um, my first opponent, round one, was very shocked that I made him go first 3 games in a row. He was like, "Why are you making me go first?" So, yeah. I play 2 Edgemp Chain, so we're still playing the Patchwork build. I might be changing this because I was trying a different engine in here. I was trying Dragon Keepers in here, and I did that the week before Nats when I was testing it. And the reason why I started playing Dragon Keeper in this build instead of like the Edgemp Chain package was I kept getting dropleted on Chimera, and so I felt like Poly wasn't really doing me any good at times. So it just felt like Chimera being protected for no reason just to get dropleted was always was very annoying. So yeah, so we're playing 2 Edgemp Chain here for that reason, and then we're playing 3 Droll and Lockbird and 3 Nibiru. Meta call wise, I was not playing Ashe. I felt like Ashe was doing nothing this format, and I felt like Droll was doing so much better. I mean, we have all these Brave decks, Brave Dragon Link, Brave Punk, Synchro. A lot of these decks added, and the only times like this card was dead was maybe against Sword Soul unless they open Emergence immediately. And it was also like dead against like Eldritch, you could say, but it was really good into the Flu matchup. So if I got paired against a Floowandereeze, it was really good. Same with the Nibiru. Nibiru is really good into like Sword Soul, the Brave Punk decks. You combine this card with like Nibiru with Imperm, you just OTK the boards. It was a really good card, and again, it had the same issues. Like it you know, if it came up against an Eldritch deck, I wasn't gonna have like a super good time, or a deck with like huge back row and didn't summon a lot. It doesn't do well against Flukes. They end on 4 summons and barrier statues, sadly. So those are the only times where I felt like the card would have been dead, but you know, unfortunately, I did not play against that. So that was our main monster lineup for the deck. We're also going to go into how our rounds played out, and you know, ultimately why we lost. Call by the Grave is ultimately why we lost. That card actually just screwed me over multiple times, and it happens. I had to get past it because you try not to tilt, and you make one misplay and you just start spiraling out of control. 3 Branded Fusion standard, 3 Opening standard. I'm still playing 2 Branded Red. I am not playing Branded Banishment in here. I still think Branded Red is a lot better. Banishment's like mid at best in my opinion, but that's just me. I play the 1 Theater. This card is so freaking amazing. I love it. And here's the part where you go, where is it? I'm not playing Branded Lost. I'm not playing Albion. I'm not playing Mercurier. They just ended up being too bricky, and they were more going first cards than anything. Branded Lost is still an amazing card, and I think it's terrific on putting pressure on the opponent and whatever they want to do. It's hard playing against it in the mirror match, that's for sure, but you know, we have outs to it, and we can remove it from being a pain in our ass. So we're going to also play 1 Foolish Burial. I'm going to count this as an honorary branded card. This card is a 1-card combo. Also can help set up combos, sending Tragedy or sending a Comedy if you need to protect fusions. Very good card, enjoyed it a lot. We played the 3 Patchwork and 2 Poly ratio, so we were playing 3 Patchwork, 2 Poly, 2 Edgemp Chain. I always wanted to see a Patchwork in my hand because no one ashes it, and the one time they ash it, it always catches you off guard. You're like, okay, cool, Branded Fusion. Patchwork essentially was the reason why I chose going second here. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna use Patchwork and play Despia like I played Despia before Branded Fusion came out. And I would ultimately use Branded Fusion here in the matches as in, like, I look at my hand, I go, neat, okay. Branded Fusion, they go Ash. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. So Patchwork, or actually I would start off turn going Patchwork, add Poly Edgemp, and then I'd go Branded Fusion, Ash. And I'm like, okay, cool, neat. Now we get to actually play the game. Poly, Edgemp Chain plus Tragedy, make Querities, or make Masquerade. Add off of that a loober effect, just along those lines, and that you could just OTK somebody, clear their board out really easy, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot, and it just made me fall in love with the deck again, just going back at it. There was a lot of lines of play that you can do going second and breaking board, so it was good for my skill ceiling, I guess I should say. It was very interactive for me to play that and enjoy it. So also with meta calls here, I knew that I'd be playing against a lot of like negations, and I knew I'd probably run into anti-spell or D barrier or combo decks that were going to put up these big massive boards. I chose 3 Droplet for that reason. Droplet was insane this format, I personally think. The fear that I had with Droplet was that people were going to start making Arclight, Herald of the Arclight. I saw it once at the event, and I was like, oh, people were doing Mirror combo into Arclight, making this card harder to resolve, which was annoying. But you know what? Ultimately, we were able to break that board because we also played 2 Cosmic and 3 Imperm. Imperm really helped with breaking that board. I think Imperm was insane this format. No Veiler, this card itself was insane this format. Like, this is probably the best hand trap of the format. It hit almost everything that there was. Droll was probably the second best, and Nibiru was really good, so that's why I made all 3 of them. Droplet was just literally for breaking boards. I saw Droplet in hand, and I had like an Imperm. There was no way I was going to lose, because I would just go Imperm Droplet or Imperm Chain Opening and then Chain Droplet. And then next thing you know, they can't respond to anything, and you're just laughing at them as you negated 3 things on their board. It's a very, very good going second cards. I love them. And the 2 Cosmic right there are literally for if our opponent played Mystic Mine, which unfortunately we did see in one of the side events, and it was the most annoying thing in the world to play against. I really hate mine, and honestly, I'm probably going to be playing that card in the future because I want that card to get banned. There's no reason why I should lose a side event over somebody hiding behind mine. It's ridiculous. I got my nice field center from GGYGO. This thing is beautiful. I love it. I flex this thing all the events. This thing was awesome. Give him some love. Shout outs to GGYGO. He was my hotel buddy too, so got to stay with him. Awesome guy. Love him to death. Next, we've got the extra deck, which I'll be pretty quick about this one. I know I've talked a lot, and it's been a pretty long video. It just was a fantastic experience. I got to meet a lot of people, hang out with a lot of people I don't really get to hang out with, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I was really, I was sad that I lost, but it happens. Called by the Grave just eats you alive. We're playing 1 Alba, so we're going to play the Fallen Alba as practice. We play 1 Alba at Lananis, really good against Dragon Link. I resolved against somebody and they go, oh my god, I hate you. And I'm like, haha, yes, thank you. We play 2 Albion still. We play 2 Lobellion still, and we play 1 Mirror Jade. 2 Lobellion is if a Veiler imperned me. Thankfully, I've dodged it almost every time. The only time this card never resolves when you get dropleted, so I play 2 for that reason. This card recycles back using Albion. I can recycle back all of these and the Fallen Albazes. Keep the Branded Engine alive. Great card. Definitely play 2 of. I don't understand why people play 1. Mirror Jade, though, I can understand people playing 2. I personally like 1. I never really get past using more than 1 in my builds, so that's why I'm very confident keeping this at 1. For Despian lineup, we play the Proskinion and the Quertes. These are very good cards. I think Quertes shined this event. Proskinion I made once, and it was, I think, in the side event, and it was, combo line was Poly for 3, use Dramaturge, summon back Dramaturge with Proskinion. Proskinion summon their Baron, and then I used Baron to pop one of their cards, and then I used Proskinion, which I made off of Brandon Red, and I attacked into their driver. Oh, that's what I did. I popped their Gamma, and then I Proskinion into their driver, and then burnt them for 25, and then hit them for 3k and 3k afterwards for game. It was really funny. Good times. Masquerade, I'm still playing it at 2. This card was really good going into decks that like the combo off. I still think this card's awesome. Just having the target in the deck for Super Poly or for regular polymerization was really good. So that's why I kept two. Pay to win is funny as hell. People get angry at this card. Oh, we're playing two Chimera. Chimera, I think, is a phenomenal card. I was playing it at one for the longest time. As you can tell from the main deck, I'm no longer playing Dragoon. The only reason why I'm not playing Dragoon in this package is for the reason that I wanted to break boards and go second. And Dragoon was mainly if I went first and then I established a good board. I made the Dragoon afterwards on like turn 3. And so I got rid of it. Chimera, I have it at 2. I've never really made more than one. I made 2 maybe one game, and it was a really funny way of doing it. But it's a good card. It's still a good card. It could be at 2 or 1 depending on your build. Next we have the Starring Venom Fusion Dragon, which replaced Dragoon. This card was solely here for the fact that Towers were a card, Arrival Agnister, anything that was a really big beater, Psychic and Punisher, all that stuff. Very, very good card outing an Arrival. I actually played against an Agnister player, and he got really confident that I wasn't going to kill him, and then I summoned this, and that was the first side event I played, and he goes, make Arrival 6k, and I was like, okay, cool, neat. Summoned Starting Venom Fusion and had Dramaturge, plus a Masquerade. So I fused away a Masquerade and a Dramaturge on board, and made Starting Fusion Venom target Arrival, gain Arrival's attack, summon back Dramaturge from its own effect, and then I also used Masquerade from Grave to summon itself back in the same thing because I had Brandon Red, those two. And that Masquerade was the game winner because I go 28, 3k, 25, and I just blew him out that way. He was not expecting that. Next we had Dragospellia, still a really good card. Very good in the flu matchup. Definitely would use it. And then our last card is Muddy Muddragon of the Swamp. Card was funny going to a Sky Striker. He actually got mad at me because he thought I was yelling at him, but he was actually a really nice guy. But I made this against Sky Striker quite a few times, and their reaction was like, "Oh, I'm gonna Widow Anchor and Impermanent." And I was like, "No, you can't target it." And they're like, "What do you mean? I'm targeting it." I was like, "You can't. Like, read the card." And yeah, it was funny. Sky Striker players hate this card. This card's funny. Yeah, I would hard make this card more than I super poly it. Poly plus Edge Chain or Tragedy to make this card very funny, and then call Dark and then do Lubellian combo. It was really funny. But yeah, so that would be my extra deck lineup. So that was the main deck of 43 cards, 15 extra deck obviously, and the fact that I just had a blast. I just unfortunately lost against Called by the Grave, and it was very, very painful. Round 1, I got a little discouraged with the deck, and I rolled dice. I let him go first, and I drew my hand. And it was all going first cards, and I was like, "Damn, bro, what is he playing?" And he played Sword Soul, and he had on Cheese Out and Baron with a Blackout, I think, and one card face down, probably Imperm. I can't remember what it was. And I draw for turn Imperm, and I was like, "Okay, deck, you're liking me more. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love." Can't do anything in draw phase as long as he's got Baron in case he wants to summon something out. I didn't want to get screwed over by him having a recursion tool. I impermed the Baron, and then I would do combo. I just didn't have enough gas game 1, so I was like, I got discouraged. It's like, oh no, deck, we played a lot of matches, so we should have we're gonna come on top. So we lose game 1, game 2, we immediately destroy this man so hard. We draw Imperm, or we had Imperm, and we had the Droplet. We blow this man out, and he was like, okay, cool, whatever. I sided in back row because I was like Twin Twisters for the Cosmics. I know he's not playing Scythe, so Cosmics come out. Game 3, I sided in all the back row hate. Drolls come out. I keep the Droplets. I keep the Nibiru, I keep the Imperm. I side in like 2 Super Polys for 2 other cards, and we just draw, and this man And does same combo 3 games in a row. He on the third game, instead of making Baron, he makes Sinister, and the Sinister was the misplay on his part because I finally drew the Nibiru and he hadn't seen Nibiru. And I nibbed him for a game on game 3, super polyed it away, or I Albazed it away to make Albion, and I just proceed to OTK this poor man. That was round 1. Round 2, I misplayed in game 3. I had game, and it was because I was overly cautious against the Baron de Fleur. I misspoke and it cost me a lot, and then I misplayed after that, and then it cost me even more, and he droplet me in time to win game in the battle step. So it happens. I could have survived, but you know what? That was my misplay. I could have super polyed away his in draw phase, the Appaloosa Baron. I don't know why I did in main phase. I just get really overcautious, so that's a big mistake on my part. Round 2 was fun. I had a great time playing against Justin Singh. Good guy. Round 3 was where we started getting blasted. So I also played the Necroworld Banshee and 2 Zombie World. It looks like the camera's moved a bit. Sorry about that. It's probably because I'm banging this table here. I played the 1 Necroworld Banshee, 2 Zombie World, 3 Raigeki, 3 Super Poly, 2 Lightning Storm, which I thought was very mid. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with this card. I really like this card, but I guess in this deck, it's not really good in my opinion. I'd probably play something else, maybe a Harpy and another Cosmic here. It never came up. This card just never showed up in my hands. It was so weird. Maybe I'll play Royal Decrees. That might be the other card I want to play. Royal Decrees, or maybe Typhoon. Something that I can play immediately and not have to worry about dying to. I'm thinking of playing Typhoon here, to be honest. Like that, I bought one and picked one up. Or I'm going to play Witch's Strike. I think Witch's Strike is hilarious, and I want to use that card so badly. I play 3 Twins. Twins were almost always sided in game 2 and 3. I'd swap these out with Cosmic Cyclone, knowing that they weren't playing Scythe. This card was very good. It helped get the Patchwork engine going. One of the reasons why I also play the Ecclesia. I have discard cards like Twin Twisters, Super Poly, Droplet. Ecclesia would recur herself. I'd always get a card back, which is really nice. The 1 Red Reboot, which should be at 3, especially after seeing the main event and seeing the top 8. This card should be at 3. There's no reason why this card should not be at 3. If Anti-Spell is still around, this card should be at 3. D-Barrier is a good card. Goes in match, rivalry. This card needs to be at 3, Konami. Come on, this is ridiculous. Like, why are we just dying to cards that say you can't play spell cards, but we can't have this? It doesn't make sense to me. Call Blight needs to go to 0 or 3. I'm tired of getting sacked by it. It really ticked me off this event. Super Poly itself was very mid, in my opinion. Card was okay at best. Could have been better. This format changed a lot, so this card was definitely sided in for me. It's just, yeah, Droplet just performs so much better. But back to round 3. Round 3, my opponent was Sword Soul. I'm like, oh, neat. I'm a crack as shit. My man killed me with Call by the Grave. And I was like, oh, fuck. Alright, oh well. Game 2. I break this man's board. Bodied him because he decided everything for going first. He was caught off guard. He had Red Reboot D-Barrier, though, still in game 2. And I was like, how the hell do you still have D-Barrier? I cracked him. And then game 3, I had branded opening, Allure, and I forgot the other card in my hand. And then I drew for turn. And I go, branded opening. I had Nibiru. I Nibiru'd him and he returned it back to my hand. I go branded opening, and I'm like, I should pitch the other branded opening in my hand, and I'll probably play better and add comedy in this matchup. But regardless of what I did, Called by the Grave had my number. So what I did is I branded opening, pitched off the other Lure in my hand, added comedy, and then I proceeded the normal Luber, use a Luber effect. He activates Called by the Grave, hits my freaking Luber, and I'm like, wow, that's fantastic. I just lost. I'm dead. Because like how do you open 3 1-ofs in 3 games? I'm just like absolutely just like mind blown, because no matter what I did in that match, like if I had sent opening off of opening, and the reason why I kept opening in hand was so that I have more stuff to do in the follow-up turn if I did break this board. I go, it would have been opening, add comedy, a Luber summon, chain comedy to the Cheese Yao negate, and then he would just call by the grave my comedy. So no matter what, call by the grave had my number. But overall, it happens. And then the round that knocked me out was the Dynamorphia round, and I actually had practiced that 2 days prior to the event, because that was one of the decks that I was actually afraid to play against because I hadn't got much experience against it. And I figured out how to beat that deck, and it was basically hold your second Masquerade until when you need it. So like as soon as they drop below 600, you summon the Masquerade and then proceed to OTK them, or you proceed to negate them with like Imperm or Droplet. So if you can get the Masquerade out in the end, like you let them go they go Domain, Katarina effect, summon Rexstrom. So now they're at 2000, and now it's just a waiting game because they can't OTK you immediately yet, as long as you put up a monster board. So in game one, our game one took 25 minutes for the fact that I didn't want to lose game one. I unfortunately did lose game one. He Gravedigger Trap Hole me, which I thought was a really fun card, and and hey man, you got it. It was a very good call. I enjoyed it. I learned that if a card says you can only activate one, you can also use the effect in grave. It's not considered an activation, it's just considered an effect of a card. I had a judge call that on the counter trap, the spell and trap counter trap Sonic. Yeah, he got me a Gravediggers twice in game one, and that's what just killed me, because I was about to OTK him finally after like 7 turns. Like it was a long grind game, and I finally figured out a way to get a Luber to negate Rexstrom so that I could brand a red and then just kill his weak monster for game. I was so sad. But you know what? He had it. He got it. It was a very well played game. Game 2, I blew him out immediately. I probably should have gone first game 3, but I was telling myself I'm only going to go second. I probably should have gone first. Or no, I couldn't go first if I blew him out game 2. I got the twin in hand. He had the anti-spell, but he had Sonic. So he goes anti-spell, I chain twin, pitch off edge imp chain, I think it was, and he chained Sonic, and that was just all she wrote at that point in time. He paid half his life points. There's nothing else I could do. I'm not going to slow play for game. It's not me. It's not how I play. We had like less than a minute left on the clock, and I wasn't going to slow play at all. Man had game on me. He has it. So GG's. And to that guy, he proceeded to win out the rest of the day after he went X2, and it was like, damn, bro, great job. So congrats to that Dynamorphic player. I really had fun playing against you. Sorry for the long video. I just had a fun time, and I just wanted to tell you guys I'm alive. I'm still here. I just had some things I had to take care of, and I'll be back with more deck profiles. I'm probably moving away from Despia. Format's changing, but I'll probably be doing Despia in the future. It's still my favorite deck. I just wanted to tell you all that thank you so much for the support. Sorry for the long absence, and I hope to see you again. Peace.